Hi guys, and welcome back to Fun with Cannabis. On this episode, I will be showing you how to make a cannabis infused topical cream that is used for pain, for skin conditions, for skin cancer, and overall just hydrating your skin. And for this recipe, we will be using, right over here I've got beeswax. This is an organic, natural beeswax. You could purchase this from a health food store, from the internet. And I got mine from an art supply store, actually, that they happen to have organic, natural beeswax from the university. And also for this recipe today, I will be using MTC oil. It's unflavored from coconut. It's in liquid form. And we will also be using, of course, Rick Simpson oil. This is just an extract I used from the cannabis flower, and I will be showing how to make this on one of my upcoming videos. And we have 1 gram here, and we will be using 2 oven safe measuring cups here that we're going to be doing our mix. So for this recipe, what I find works best is using a 2-to-1 ratio of beeswax to oil, and then this gives us a nice consistency after we not exactly whip it, but I'll show you what I do with it afterwards. And also something else that since I'm making this for my wife, and she likes it scented, because the beeswax does give off a natural scent that I don't mind it. My wife, she's not too keen on it. So what I will be doing today is also using her favorite choice of perfume, Eternity for Women. We will be adding about 1 milliliter of this perfume to the mixture once we start the cooling process. So what we need to do now is I'm going to turn on my heating plate here, and I'm gonna heat it up to about 100 degrees Celsius. So this plate here gets warmed up, and I've got my 2 oven safe. They're like a Pyrex glass measuring cups, and I like to use them because I could get the exact ratio I need when mixing. So I have pre-measured 33 grams or 33 milliliters of beeswax, and I will be putting this into the first Pyrex dish here, and we're gonna allow that to melt completely. And so we have approximately 33 grams of beeswax. So in my next glass, I'm gonna add approximately 65 milliliters or grams of MCT oil, and this will make about a 100-gram batch of topical. So we will just wait for the beeswax to melt, and then we will add our MCT oil in our second glass there, just to bring it up to the even temperature, so when we mix it, it doesn't clump up. I find that when I introduce the MCT oil into the hot beeswax, it starts to cool down too fast and clump up, and just, it's harder to mix. So just to check temperature, I will be using one of these heat guns, and we could see just on the heating plate what the temperature is right now, and we're at about 85 degrees, about 88 degrees Celsius. So that's about, a good temperature. You can see that the beeswax is starting to melt, and we're just gonna wait for that to melt out. Stay tuned. Okay, now that our beeswax has melted, we've heated up our MCT oil as well to about the same temperature. So what I've got here is, I don't know if you can see this, it's 89 degrees Celsius, basically 90 degrees. And our MCT oil has reached 72. You want both of these mixtures hot, because if your MCT oil is cooler than your beeswax, as soon as you pour it in, it will clump up, it will cool down, and it will not mix well. So we try to keep them about the same temperature. This is where I'm going to introduce the Rick Simpson oil that I made here. This is a 1 gram syringe. Actually, I've overfilled it, so it's like 1.2 grams. And we're gonna introduce that right now, right into our MCT oil. We're gonna inject it. So this is the ingredient you need to get the healing benefits from cannabis. So I'm just gonna let that pour in there slowly. And there we have it. That's 1.2 grams of concentrate. You could use Rick Simpson oil. You could use distillate. Guys, you could use pretty much any concentrate in this recipe. Rosin, BHO. And now we're gonna mix it so that it mixes in well with the MCT oil. And you can see how that's dissolved already. MCT oil is a good base for dissolving THC and cannabinoids into. It mixes well. And also I should mention that if you want to make a tincture, this MCT oil with the extract in it and well mixed, it's ready to go, guys. You could put this in a dropper and take it orally. Just the MCT oil, we're not talking about the beeswax. But what we're gonna do here now is I'm going to, because my wife she doesn't care too much about the smell from the beeswax, we're just going to introduce a little bit of her choice of fragrance. And the way I'm going to do this, guys, I'm going to demonstrate right now, is I'm going to use just a little glass vial like this. And I know that once I reach about 1/5 of the bottle, That's going to be about a milliliter. I pre-measured it before, so this is what I do. I take the bottle, in this case we're using Eternity for Women. I'm going to get the vial opening right on the nozzle, just like that, and I'm going to start to pump up and down. And you can see this is going right into my vial in liquid form. So for a 100 gram to 120 gram, I like to use about a milliliter of fragrance. Don't want to make it too strong. Don't, you know, just to cover up the smell of the beeswax. So I'm gonna put this aside for now, guys, and I'm gonna explain what I'm gonna do now. So right now I'm gonna turn my heating source off. I'm gonna give my MCT oil another stir, just to make sure we've dissolved all the cannabinoids from the extract into the MCT oil. And you could see that this is in liquid form, this beeswax. And now with both liquids at same temperature, I'm going to pour the MCT oil into the beeswax. Actually, guys, before I do that, this is where I'm going to introduce my fragrance. So I'm going to take the MCT oil off the heating source. Even though we turned that off, it's still hot. And I'm going to introduce the perfume into the MCT oil. And here we go. Now we're going to give that a stir. A good stir. And we're going to introduce it into our beeswax. Now the two mixtures have been combined, and we're going to stir this very well because we want the beeswax to mix in well with the MCT oil, and this will give us the consistency that we need to apply our topical onto our skin. Give that a good mix. We've turned off our heating plate and we're just mixing this just not real well. We want it to bind. We want the MCT oil to bind with the beeswax evenly. So then we will get a nice consistency. And guys, you know, experimental, you know, if you find it that it's too hard, you could add more MCT oil. If you find it that it's too runny, you could cut down on your MCT oil ratio to the beeswax. We'll let that sit before we start stirring again. I like to wait about 30 seconds. Give it another stir. And we will remove this from the hot plate and we will let it cool down for about 1 to 2 hours. It will solidify, and then we'll be back and I'll show you how I air it out. It's kind of almost like whipping. So stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome back. Now it's been about 2 hours that our mixture has been sitting and it has solidified. I'm just going to show you the texture of it now. And if you just press it, it's pretty hard and you don't get much. So this next step, you're going to require some type of a spoon, or I'm going to use this dab tool here. But what you want to do with the spoon or whatever you're going to use is you're going to want to start scraping it in a downward position. Just keep scraping it until we get this consistency. Just like that, it looks like butter. And we're just going to use a small plastic Tupperware here. It's from Ziploc. And we're just going to apply it in there. We're going to keep doing this until it's full. Okay, after scraping up our cream here, and we've put it into our container, you could see that now the consistency is much creamier, just like that. So you can see the texture of the beeswax and the MCT oil. And I'll show you how I apply it on the skin. And it's pretty clean, it's not greasy. So we'll just take some, I'll show you right here, just a little bit for demonstration. And I got pretty dry skin too, but this will show how it applies and just rubs right in. And it's got so much benefits, so many benefits, especially with the THC oil. I'll show you the front of my hand there. Put some of there, we just rub it all in. And there you go. And it smells nice. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.